Prairie Bend, written and produced by Alicia Reed. Episode 7. Danielle did not move right away. The hallway outside the meeting room had grown quieter, the last of the voices fading as people filtered out of the McLennan County Planning Building. But the weight of what had just happened still pressed down on her chest. Mrs. Harris' words had settled into the room like something permanent, and the board had heard her. But Danielle had also seen something else. She turned slowly, her eyes scanning the far end of the hallway. "Did you see him?" she asked quietly. Carla did not answer right away. She had been watching the same direction. "Yes," Carla finally said. "I saw him." Reggie stepped closer. "Who?" Danielle lowered her voice. "The man in the gray suit." "He did not say a word, but he was watching everything." Carla nodded. "He left before the meeting ended. Did not speak to the board. Did not sign in." Reggie frowned. "You think he is with Prairie Horizons?" Danielle did not answer immediately. She did not want to say it too fast. But she already knew. Outside, the late afternoon light had softened into evening. The sky stretched wide over the parking lot, calm and quiet in a way that felt almost deceptive. Danielle stood near the car, her phone still in her hand. "I am calling Mr. Price," she said. Carla looked at her. "Now?" "Yes." The phone rang twice. Then, Danielle Porter. His voice was steady, sharp, awake. "I figured you would be calling," Walter Price said. Daniela's grip tightened on the phone. "You were right." There was a pause. "I usually am," he replied. Danielle glanced at Carla, then turned slightly away. "There was a man at the meeting," she said. "Did not speak, did not sign in, just watched." Another pause. Longer this time. Then Walter Price spoke, slower. "Gray suit?" Danielle's breath caught. "Yes." "Hall caps his hands still when he is listening." Danielle closed her eyes for a brief second. "Yes." Carla watched her carefully now. Danielle spoke into the phone. "Who is he?" Walter Price did not answer right away. When he finally did, his voice had changed. "A9 does not work for Prairie Horizons." Danielle frowned. "Then who?" "He works behind them." Silence settled around her. Even the breeze seemed to still. "What does that mean?" Danielle asked. "It means," Walter said carefully, "Prairie Horizons is not the top of this." Danielle felt something shift deep inside her. The ground beneath everything she thought she understood. "If Prairie Horizons is not at the top," she said slowly, "then who is?" Walter exhaled softly on the other end. "That," he said, "is something you need to be very careful about asking." Back in Prairie Bend, the night had settled in fully. Aunt Denise sat in the living room, the television playing low, her knitting resting quietly in her lap. She was not watching the news anymore. She was listening, waiting. When the door opened, she looked up. Danielle stepped inside first, followed by Carla. Reggie lingered behind them, closing the door softly. Denise studied Danielle's face. "You found something," she said. It was not a question. Danielle nodded slowly. "Yes, ma'am." Denise set her knitting aside. "And sit down," she said, "and tell me what kind of trouble has found its way to Prairie Bend." Danielle did not smile. She walked to the table and placed her phone down. Carla took a seat beside her. Reggie remained standing. Danielle looked at her aunt. "It is bigger than Prairie Horizons." Denise did not react outwardly, but her eyes sharpened. "How much bigger?" she asked. Danielle hesitated, then answered plainly. "Big enough that Prairie Horizons may just be the front." The room grew still. Denise leaned back slightly, her gaze steady. "I was afraid of that," she said quietly. Carla looked between them. "You knew?" Denise shook her head slowly. "Not new," she said. "But I have lived here long enough to recognize when something does not add up." She turned her attention back to Danielle. "You keep pulling at this, baby. You are going to uncover more than land records." Danielle held her gaze. "I already have." Later that night, long after the house had gone quiet, Danielle stood alone on the porch. The land stretched out before her, dark and still under the night sky. But tonight, it did not feel peaceful. It felt watched. Her phone buzzed in her hand. A message. Unknown number. She hesitated, then opened it. There was no greeting, no name, just one sentence. Stop asking about Prairie Horizons. Danielle stared at the screen. Her jaw tightened. The wind moved softly across the fields, and somewhere, far off in the darkness, a vehicle engine turned over. Danielle slowly lifted her head and looked out into the night. Danielle did not go back inside. She stayed on the porch, her phone still in her hand, the message glowing against the darkness. Stop asking about Prairie Horizons. No name, no number she recognized. Just a warning, or a threat. The sound of the engine she had heard moments ago faded into the distance, swallowed by the quiet of Prairie Bend. But the feeling remained. She was not imagining it. Someone had been close, watching. Behind her, the screen door opened softly. Danielle. Aunt Denise's voice was low, steady. Danielle did not turn right away. "Do you hear that car?" she asked. Denise stepped out onto the porch, pulling her shawl closer around her shoulders. "I did." Danielle finally looked at her. "They are not hiding anymore." Denise studied her niece's face carefully. "No," she said. "They are not." Carla stepped out next, arms folded across her chest. "I saw headlights down the road," she said. "Parked for a minute, then gone." Reggie came last, his presence quiet but firm. "We need to be careful," he said. Danielle looked at him. "We already are." Reggie shook his head slightly. "No, I mean careful in a different way." Daniel's eyes narrowed. "What does that mean?" Reggie hesitated, then spoke plainly. "It means whoever is behind Prairie Horizons just told you they know what you are doing." The words hung in the air. Heavy, real. Inside the house, the atmosphere had changed. The same table, the same chairs, but now it felt like something had shifted. Denise poured coffee without asking. No one refused. Danielle sat down slowly, placing her phone on the table. Carla leaned forward. "Let me see it." Danielle slid the phone across. Carla read the message, her expression tightening. "No number," she said. "Blocked or masked." Reggie pulled out a chair. "That was not random." "No," Danielle said. "It was not." Denise set the coffee down in front of her. "What did Mr. Price say?" she asked. Danielle looked at her. "He said Prairie Horizons is not at the top." Denise nodded slowly, as if confirming something she had already suspected. "And the man in the gray suit?" she asked. Danielle's voice lowered. "He works behind them." The room went quiet again. Carla leaned back slightly. "So we are not dealing with just a development company?" "No," Danielle said. "We are not." Reggie stood and began pacing slowly. "This is bigger than land," he said. "Bigger than Prairie Bend." Danielle watched him. "Yes," she said. "Papa's Prairie Bend is where they are starting." Carla tapped the table lightly with her fingers. "Or where they think they can get away with it." Denise looked between them. "And what exactly do you think they are trying to do?" she asked. Danielle did not answer right away. She thought about Parcel 17, about the records, about the silence in the planning meeting when Mrs. Harris spoke. And she said it. "I think they are trying to take control of more land than anyone realizes, without anyone noticing, until it is too late." Carla nodded slowly. "Quiet acquisitions, pressure, confusion." Reggie stopped pacing. "And intimidation," he added. Danielle glanced at her phone. "Yes," she said softly. "That too." The clock on the wall ticked steadily. 3:42 a.m. in the morning. The same time Danielle had woken up before. She looked at it now, her mind connecting things she had not fully understood before. "They have been moving quietly," she said. Denise watched her. "For how long?" Danielle met her eyes. "Years." Carla exhaled slowly. "So what do we do now?" Danielle leaned back in her chair. For a moment, she said nothing. "Then, we stop reacting," she said. Reggie frowned. "What does that mean?" "It means," Danielle continued, We do not wait for them to make the next move. Carla leaned forward again. We make it. Genesee's eyes sharpened slightly. And what kind of move are you thinking about? She asked. Danielle looked at each of them, then spoke carefully. We go back to Mr. Price. Carla nodded immediately. Third visit? Yes, Danielle said. But this time, we ask the right questions. Reggie crossed his arms. And if he does not answer, Daniela's expression hardened. Then we ask someone who will. Outside, the wind picked up slightly, brushing across the land. The same land that had held secrets for years. The same land Prairie Horizons wanted. And now, the same land Danielle was no longer willing to walk away from. Her phone buzzed again. Everyone froze. Danielle slowly picked it up. Another message. This one shorter. Colder. You do not understand what you are involved in. Danielle stared at the words. Then, without hesitation, she typed back. Carla leaned closer. What are you doing? Danielle did not look up. Her fingers moved steadily. Then she hit send. Reggie stepped closer. What did you say? Danielle placed the phone back on the table. Her voice was calm. Certain. I'll told them. She looked up. They do not understand who they are dealing with. The room fell silent. But this time, it was not fear. It was resolve. Far down the road, beyond the edge of Prairie Bend, a black SUV slowed. Then stopped. Inside, a man lowered his phone and smiled faintly. The man in the black SUV did not move for a long moment. The engine idled low, steady. His eyes remained on the glow of his phone screen. Daniela's message still open. They do not understand who they are dealing with. A faint smile touched his lips. Interesting, he murmured. He set the phone down in the console, his fingers tapping lightly against the steering wheel. Then, without hurry, he shifted the vehicle into drive. The SUV rolled forward, disappearing deeper into the dark road beyond Prairie Bend. Back at the house, no one had moved. Danielle's words still lingered in the air. Carla leaned back slowly, studying her. You just told whoever that is that you are not backing down. Danielle met her gaze. I am not. Reggie exhaled quietly. That might have just escalated things. Danielle nodded once. It was already escalating. Denise, still seated, watched them all. You have drawn a line now, she said. And lines do not stay quiet for long. Danielle did not flinch. Good, she said. Morning came slower than usual. A gray light settled over Prairie Bend, soft and heavy, as if the town itself felt the shift. Danielle stood in the kitchen, coffee untouched in her hand. She had not slept. Across the table, Carla flipped through a small notebook, her pen moving quickly. We need a list, Carla said. Everything tied to Prairie Horizons. Danielle nodded. Properties. Names. Shell companies. Reggie leaned against the counter. And timelines, he added. When they started showing up, Carla looked up. They did not just appear overnight. No, Danielle said. They have been here. Denise entered the kitchen quietly, tying her robe. People do not move like that without permission, she said. Carla frowned. Permission from who? Denise met Danielle's eyes. That is what you need to find out. By mid-morning, Prairie Bend had begun to stir, but something felt different. Danielle noticed it as soon as she stepped outside. People were watching. Not openly, but enough. A pause in conversation. A glance that lingered too long. Carla noticed it too. They know, she said under her breath. Danielle kept walking to Reggie's truck. Or they are starting to. The truck rolled slowly down Main Street. Reggie drove this time, his eyes moving between the road and the rear-view mirror. You see that car? He said quietly. Danielle did not turn her head. Which one? Dark sedan. Been behind us since we left the house. Carla shifted slightly in her seat, just enough to catch a glimpse. I see it. Danielle stayed calm. Keep driving. They turned onto a quieter road, one that led toward the outskirts of town. The sedan followed. Not close, but not far enough away to ignore. Reggie's jaw tightened. Still there. Danielle's voice remained steady. Let them follow. Carla looked at her. You sure about that? Danielle nodded. Yes. They drove for another few minutes before Danielle spoke again. Turned toward Magnolia Ridge. Reggie glanced at her. Mr. Price? Yes. Carla sat up straighter. Third visit. Danielle looked out the window. It's this time, we are not just asking questions. The Magnolia Ridge Assisted Living Center stood quiet and composed, its neat landscaping untouched by the tension that followed them there. Reggie pulled into the parking lot. The sedan slowed behind them. Then, kept going. Danielle watched it pass. They do not want to be seen here, she said. Carla nodded. Not yet. Inside, the air was calm. Almost too calm. Walter Price was exactly where they had left him. Seated. But his eyes sharpened the moment he saw them. I was wondering how long it would take, he said. Danielle stepped closer. Not long enough. Carla stood beside her. We need answers. Walter studied them carefully. Then nodded once. I figured you might. Reggie closed the door behind them. Danielle did not sit this time. She remained standing. You said Prairie Horizons is not at the top, she said. Then who is? Walter did not answer immediately. Instead, he looked past her, toward the window, as if measuring something, or someone, and spoke. Before Prairie Horizons ever showed up, conversations. Danielle's eyes narrowed. What kind of conversations? Walter's voice lowered. About land consolidation. Carla frowned. For development. Walter shook his head slowly. No. A pause. Control. The word landed hard. Danielle stepped closer. Control of what? Walter met her gaze fully now. Everything. Silence filled the room. Heavy. Unavoidable. Carlet's voice was tight. Who is behind it? Walter exhaled slowly. You do not get names that easily. Danielle did not back down. Then give me something. Walter studied her. Then nodded slightly. There is a group, he said. They do not show up on paper, do not attend meetings, do not make announcements. Reggie shifted his weight. Then how do you know they exist? Walter's expression did not change. Because I saw what they started. Danielle felt her pulse steady. Not fear, focus. What did they start? She asked. Walter's eyes held hers. A quiet transfer of land, piece by piece. Carla whispered, Parcel 17. Walter nodded once. And that is just one of many. The room seemed smaller now, the walls closer, the truth pressing in. Danielle straightened. How far does it go? Walter did not hesitate this time. Farther than Prairie Bend. Outside, a breeze moved through the trees. But restless. Danielle looked at Carla. Then Reggie. Then back at Walter Price. We are not stopping, she said. Walter studied her carefully. Then gave a slow, knowing nod. I did not think you would. And somewhere beyond Prairie Bend, plans were already shifting. Danielle did not speak right away. Walter Price's words still hung in the room. Further than Prairie Bend. It was not just a warning. It was a shift. Everything Danielle thought she was dealing with had just grown larger, more organized, more deliberate. Carla broke the silence first. How far? She asked. Walter did not answer immediately. He reached slowly to the small table beside him and picked up a pair of reading glasses, not to put them on, just to hold them. A habit. A pause. Far enough, he said, that Prairie Bend is not the only town being looked at. Reggie frowned. You mean there are others? Walter nodded once. Yes. Danielle felt a slow, steady clarity settle over her. This is not development, she said. No, Walter replied. It is positioning. Carla leaned forward. For what? Walter looked at her. For control of land that has not been valued properly yet. Danielle's eyes sharpened. Future value. Walter gave a small nod. Exactly. Reggie crossed his arms. So Prairie Horizons comes in first. Pass quietly. Pressures people. And nobody asks questions. And by the time they do, Carla added, It is already too late. Walter did not disagree. Danielle stepped closer. What is on Parcel 17? She asked. Walter's gaze shifted slightly. That was new. A hesitation. Small. But there. Danielle noticed. Carla noticed too. Reggie straightened. Walter finally spoke. Not just land. Danielle's voice lowered. Then what? Walter looked directly at her now. Location. The word sat between them. Danielle felt it click. Not land value. Not ownership. Position. What kind of location? She asked. Walter did not look away. The kind that becomes important later. Carla shook her head slightly. That is not enough. Walter's expression remained steady. It is all I can give you right now. Danielle studied him. He was not afraid. He was careful. Very careful. Reggie stepped forward. So what do we do with that? Danielle answered before Walter could. We verify it. Carla looked at her. How? Danielle did not hesitate. We typo to the records. Back in a parking lot, the air felt different. Not tense. Focused. The dark sedan was gone. But Danielle knew that did not mean they were alone. It just meant whoever was watching had adjusted. Reggie started the truck. County Records Office? He asked. Danielle shook her head. No. Carla looked at her. Then where? Danielle's voice was calm. Old records. Denise was waiting when they returned. Not in the living room this time. At the table. Papers spread out in front of her. Danielle paused in the doorway. You have already started, she said. Denise did not look up. I did not wait. Carla stepped closer, eyes scanning the table. These are property maps. Denise nodded. Older than what you will find in any county office today. Reggie closed the door behind them. Where did you get these? Denise finally looked up. People hold on to things, she said. Especially when they do not trust what is being changed. Danielle stepped forward slowly. Her eyes moved across the maps. Boundaries. Names. Then, she stopped. Carla, she said quietly. Carla leaned in beside her. What is it? Danielle pointed. Look at this. Carla followed her finger. The parcels connected. Not randomly. Not loosely. Deliberately. Reggie stepped closer. That cannot be a coincidence. Denise folded her hands. It is not. Danielle straightened. Parcel 17 is not isolated, she said. Carla nodded slowly. It is part of something bigger. Reggie exhaled. They are connecting land. Danielle looked at him. Yes. Silence settled again. But this time, it was not confusion. It was realization. Denise spoke softly. You are looking at a pattern. Danielle nodded. And if this pattern continues, Carla finished the thought. They are building something. Reggie stepped back slightly. What kind of something? Danielle did not answer right away. Her eyes were still on the map, still tracing the lines, still seeing it come together. Then she spoke. The kind of control Mr. Price was talking about. Her phone buzzed. All four of them looked at it. Danielle picked it up slowly. Another message. Same unknown source. This time, there was no warning. Just a statement. You are getting closer than you should. Danielle stared at the screen. Then looked back down at the map. Then at Carla. Then at Reggie. Then at Denise. Her voice was quiet, but steady. Good. Far beyond Prairie Bend. In a quiet office lit by a single lamp. A hand rested on a larger map. More detailed. More complete. More dangerous. And one section was circled. The room stayed quiet after Danielle said the word. Good. No one rushed to speak. No one tried to soften it. Because they all understood what it meant. They were no longer searching blindly. They were getting close. Danielle set her phone down slowly. The message still sat on the screen. You are getting closer than you should. Carla leaned in, her eyes steady. They are watching the same thing we are. Danielle nodded. Yes. Reggie crossed his arms. Which means whatever we are looking at on this table matters. Denise did not look up from the map. It mattered before you even knew to look at it. Danielle stepped closer again. Her finger traced the faint lines connecting parcel to parcel. 17, 18, 19. Carla followed along. They are not just buying land, she said. They are building a path. Reggie frowned. A path to what? Danielle did not answer right away, because she did not know yet. But she could feel it. This was not random. It was not scattered. It was directed. Denise spoke quietly. You ever seen someone lay claim to land without announcing it? Danielle looked at her. No. Denise nodded toward the map. You are looking at it. Carla straightened. So what is at the center? Danielle paused. Then moved her hand slowly across the map, from one parcel to the next. Then stopped. There, she said. Reggie leaned in. What is that? Denise's expression changed slightly. Recognition. That, she said carefully, used to be old county land. Carla looked at her. Used to be? Denise nodded. Before it was reassigned. Quietly. Danielle's eyes narrowed. When? Denise exhaled softly. Years ago. Danielle felt the pieces begin to move. Not fully formed, but forming. What was it used for? She asked. Denise hesitated. That hesitation said everything. Danielle's voice dropped. Aunt Denise? Denise finally answered. Records. The words settled heavily. Carla blinked. Records? Denise nodded. Old records. Property. Ownership. Transfers. Things people did not always want seen again. Reggie looked back at the map. And now? Denise shook her head. Closed. Moved. Forgotten. Danielle's voice was steady. Or hidden. Carla's eyes widened slightly. You think Prairie Horizons is building toward that location? Danielle did not hesitate. Yes. Reggie looked between them. For what? Danielle answered slowly. To control what is known and what is not. Silence. Unavoidable. Her phone buzzed again. No one moved at first. Then Danielle picked it up. Another message. Short but sharp. Walk away. Danielle stared at it. Her expression did not change, but something inside her did. Carla watched her carefully. What are you thinking? Danielle looked up. We have been asking the wrong question. Reggie frowned. What do you mean? Danielle turned the phone face down on the table. We have been asking what Prairie Horizons wants. She shook her head slightly. That is not it. Denise watched her closely now. Then what should you be asking? Danielle's voice was quiet. Focused. Why they need it hidden. Carla leaned back slowly. That is different. Reggie nodded. And more dangerous. Danielle did not disagree. Outside, the sky had shifted again. Clouds gathering. Light fading earlier than it should. Prairie Bend felt smaller. Tighter. As if something unseen had begun closing in. Reggie moved toward the window. We are not the only ones looking anymore, he said. Danielle joined him. She did not look out at the road. She looked past toward the land. They were never just watching, she said. Carla stood. What do you mean? Danielle's voice lowered. They have been waiting. Denise rose slowly from her chair. For what? Danielle did not answer immediately. Because now, she could see it. Not clearly. But enough. For someone to notice, she said. The room went still again. Phone lit up once more. This time, a different message. Longer. Danielle opened it. Read it once. Then, again. Carla stepped closer. What is it? Danielle did not speak right away. When she did, her voice had changed. They want to meet again. Reggie turned sharply. Who? Danielle looked at all of them. Prairie Horizons. Denise's expression hardened. That is not a meeting. Danielle met her gaze. I know. Far beyond Prairie Bend. In that same quiet office. The map remained spread across the desk. Lights low. Silence controlled. A single file was placed beside the map. Labeled. Porter, Danielle. And beneath that, another name. Prairie Bend. If the land and inheritance issues in Prairie Bend make you curious about how property ownership works in real life, I wrote a beginner-friendly guide called Protect Your Property that explains how trusts can help protect homes, land, and real estate. You can find the link in the description below. Thank you for watching Prairie Bend. and I will see you in the next episode. Bye for now.